what's open, that's what's open, that's what's open, that's what's open. It's a distance thing now. The hands are back. They're no longer this close, it's opening. When the hands go back, the sword goes back, the head is very, very open. So that's the cue. Hands come back, hit the head, hands go up, hit under, side to side. So now we're adding the kind of layer of 2 dimensions. So, yes?
Is there a good starting point for the hitter?
In a comfortable guard for you. If you want to be in long point, you can be in long point. If you want to be in bottom tuck, you can. If you want to be in this kind of prep shield hollow position, some shields and false edges, you can do it.
Something loaded in the middle.
Yeah. Whatever's comfortable for you to launch. You want comfortable hands, you want to be able to launch quickly. So, yeah. Yeah.
With the changes that were happening quickly, I ended up kind of binding a little bit until I got it on where I need to go.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Anyone else?
Sometimes the nearest opening is a position that is still a threat to you. So I would go for that nearest opening and then think like, that was a bad choice for me unless I made a good offline.
That's kind of exactly what I want. So there might have been moments where you had to just let it go, or you might have just taken the wrong spot, and that's we need to train your brain to realize that's exactly what it's for. So that's really awesome. So yeah, train your brain to realize when it's actually really safe and when it's not. And if you're letting some go, that's totally fine. That's if you just let them go, that's fine. And so what I want to talk about next, just as a brief side note, is we have you doing this lateral movement, right? These guard changes in long point from inside to outside, and I need to bring up why that's kind of bad sometimes. Why it's really inefficient to have your energy going sideways and all over the place is because of this exploitability. And so if you're all over the place right here, you're just giving your opponent the opportunity to really just kind of stick a stick through the bike wheels, right? Or just catch those arms as they're moving. We need to talk about when is it efficient to be moving laterally like this and when is it not. So a lot of times, if you're just giving it up, it's pretty inefficient. You do want to be moving forward. All the sources talk about fencing at the point, right? And launching at the point. But occasionally it becomes absolutely necessary and the most efficient thing to parry laterally. Only when it's dead essential is when I literally have no other option. If I try to go forward, it's going to be a double. If I try to that's the perfect single time counterattack, it might be a double. So if I just absolutely need to parry, then I have to go laterally. And so, hit this side. It's there comes a point where you just need to parry. So now that's the right thing to do. The wrong thing to do is just to give your opponent these openings and have them catch your tempo because you're like a ticking clock and they can just go right in between. The right thing to do is as a defender, to find your moments, to get your opponent to launch, to parry correctly. Now we're going to capitalize on your opponent doing the right thing. We're going to create these moments where your opponent parries with a simple feint. That's the next step, direct attack, parry-riposte, feint in the tactical wheel. So now we're going to actually create these openings where, right now, this is the opening. No, it's not. If I have the opening, I don't have it. Doesn't matter where I am in this tempo. It matters where I am in the next. She's going to move to parry that easily. And I have that. So you're going to create these openings side to side. First, let's just do side to side. And actually, let's stick to the hands for now. The hands are going to be out front in this long point, and the parries are going to be side to side. Wait for me. There. So I get this opening. I get that opening, and then I get that. So do that. And then the next level, we're going to go feinting high versus low. Feinting boom, boom. Or high, parry high, hit low. So we're gonna first do the left and right feint, and then we're gonna go high low feint. And high low feint is kind of a matter of shallow in the hands, deep on the head. So grab your partners. Let's start. Yeah. Start. So that's why I say let everyone know that we need a deck. Any thoughts? Any thoughts? I know we had one person trying to figure out how to make the fate convincing, and that's really important. Is we're going to need to, in order to make the fate convincing, you have to do a lot, or do a little to make a lot out of your opponent. Spend a little to take a lot. Yeah.
There's also the event of perhaps you're beating them to the feint, and so you need that, like, if they don't react to the feint, you still have that option.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is an option drill that you can do with this. Is if they don't respond, just continue.
Yep.
So. But what we need to do too to make this feint really convincing is change tempo with it, because that will make it really convincing while you don't have to do anything. So if I'm just gonna like go the same pace, right? This is gonna be red. If I'm like 1, 2, it's gonna be red. But if I'm like establishing a tempo, right? And it's just like slow, fast, go, you know? That sort of thing is what you need to do, like to kind of break rhythm and actually make your opponent twitch. Because this is the danger of feints, is that someone can counterattack into it. You need them to actually read what you're going for, and so you need to actually get responses out of them first before you kind of hit it, and you want them to actually start responding to you and respecting you, getting this lateral movement that's exploitable. And to do that, you just have to actually start first in dominating, you know, the tempo, the timing, the distance. It'll actually make your techniques way more threatening and way more, like, just open up windows for you, you know? So that's a hard concept to really practice sometimes, but everything starts from Zufechten, literally everything. And it's a chain reaction that follows just from us doing this, you know, establishing patterns and breaking them. You know, establishing patterns, you know, breaking them, stuff like, just whatever, you know. And you can get, once you start to map it out in your own head, you can get really creative with it. So, next we are going to move on now to finding openings off of the parry. And we're just gonna do pretty simple. I'm gonna use you because you have gear real quick. This is what we need gear for, and then the drill after this is a drill I really like to kind of find that disciplined parry-riposte, you know, is you're gonna attack me, and you're gonna attack on any 4 openings, any of the kind of diagonals right here, whatever you want, whatever angle you want. And I'm gonna parry, and I'm gonna find what I like best to do. Right here, my nearest opening in this position is that, but if I find something else, I might do that, you attack a different angle, that, where's this riposte go? You know, just kind of find it, you know. Okay. So stay super calm, keep your feet and hands steady, read it, have your hands make calm movements to parry. You don't want wide parries, you don't want to be like this, because this is spending too much hand tempo and you're not in a position to riposte after. You want every parry to be in a launching position right after. So to do that, parry with your blade. Keep your hands steady so they can move forward. You don't want to spend their movement going laterally, you want to spend your hand movement going forward. So keep them steady and calm. Parry happens. Boom, they go. Parry happens, they go here. Forward. So that's what we're going to do. The opponent just gives an attack, and you get to workshop your own game, your own thing, sharpening your parries, finding that moment where your parry is creating an opening, guiding the sword away from the center line, and then moving forward with your hand. Stay calm with your hands, move forward with your hands. That sort of thing. So, just parry riposting, sharpening like every nitty gritty aspect of it. So let's partner up and do that. Let's. There's a drill that I really want to do, and so I'm gonna have you guys save energy for now. I'll talk the first set, and then we can get into this drill. You know, kind of be the end of it, and then come back to like, you know, kind of like tactical applications about how to So, I want to just show you guys a little bit of my methodology of doing this drill. And maybe you can, like, you know, take some of the concepts and apply it, or just take the techniques that I do if you want, or just the concepts of keeping everything super small and tight, and then applying it to what you already do. So, actually I might need someone with a jacket. Yeah. Ben, can I grab it? Yeah. So I'm going to show you guys like the sauce of the Chandler sauce. You know, I keep everything for the most part in a strike zone until I cannot. So right here, I'm trying to keep it super simple. You attack me, I'm still in the strike zone, right? You know, still in the strike zone. I don't, that wasn't good, but maybe if you came higher it was. Right there, you know, and then till I'm not, I'm high. Right there, you know, until like, because there's a thing where you can see a mountain off in the distance and point at the peak just by doing this. But then you get up closer to the mountain and the peak's up there. So from distance, all we need to do is focus on what's right here. Distance does dictate what your hands should be doing. You should not be coming too high too soon, because as we kind of drilled, we had someone go high, right? And someone hit, you know? Someone hit, or whatever, you know? We just drilled that. That's giving an opening for free. So we should not be coming high before we need to. Distance dictates where your hands kind of go. And people kind of don't really realize this, but it really does. And you can manage what your hands do by just keeping distance. I'm out here and I know everything's going to be just about right here in this strike zone until we get close. And that's when I know I can bring my hands up and I can be first in doing that, because oh shit, I read he's charging in, coming here, and my hands will be up first and I can hit that zerk or something. So my methodology is dealing with that, you know, knowing what my hands can do based on my distance and being the first one to take it because they're calm. And so my kind of, you know, arsenal are these easy kind of here, I can go back there. My point, the nearest, from my point to my opponent, the nearest opening is basically right there, right there, right there. And then when I come high, this is what I kind of want to see a lot of people doing more, honestly, is like the Parry-riposte vert. Is when I come high, my tip is a little bit back. Now the closest, the most efficient path of travel is right there or right there. You know, it's no longer trying to do something like that. Sometimes it could be right there, but most of the time, the most efficient path of travel, if you come high, is right there or right there. It's here to here. Most of the time it's here. You're here. Well, now when the time comes for your hands to come high, right here, right there, or right there, right there. It's like, it's now like hitting a flank, because you're in range to hit a flank. It's like point A to point B, most efficient thing, like that, like that, like that. That's basically it. So distance can really change what your hands do. You know, I'm just gonna be right here for forever. You know, forever. And then I'm in the first raise. I go in. So you can apply this and think about it. We're not going to drill it anymore, but if you want to continue doing these drills later, you can, and really just like kind of freestyle it in your own way. But take, you know, try to maybe apply what I'm saying right here, because it's really important. It's really good. And so we're going to do one last drill where the attacker is going to throw. It's going to be hard with this space, but this is a drill you guys can totally take home. It's really fun, and it really helps like kind of your discipline in reading your opponent and picking a riposte. The attacker is going to throw 4 attacks at me, and as as they throw the first one, they're gonna say 1 through 4, right? So pick a number 1 through 4.
3.
And now throw your 4 attacks. I'm gonna riposte off of the third. I'm gonna riposte off of what they say. So throw 4 attacks. 3. And then, but continue with the fourth, so I have to parry the afterblow. So that's what we're gonna do. And I say 1. Or I'll just like you just let's go through all the examples.
Okay.
So you'll say 1. No, keep going. Keep going. Yeah.
Sorry.
No matter what you're throwing for, yeah. So
1.
okay, I missed the riposte, but I got all the parries. So
2. 3. 4.
that's it. And so randomize it. Don't go in order. I call it random riposte. Just randomize it. So we can practice that for a little bit until you guys maybe want to gas out or just stop. But this is something you can take home for sure. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have a partner to spar with? Because
I think my current partner, are you Are you sure?
okay, I'm tapping out, so if you want.
You don't have to record the actual practice part.
Okay, cool.
Mostly most of the lecture.
Yeah.
You can keep going.
That was the last thing I had, and just kind of close it up with talking about like kind of why this stuff can be really important, especially when you start taking what's given to you and create very subtle things. Is because it can create like this chain reaction of your opponent like absolutely having no idea what you're doing. If you're just taking what's given, they're kind of unaware of what's even going on in your mind. It's like it's a freebie, you know. You didn't even get to do like your plan or what you wanted or something, and so you're already you're getting points, getting ahead, and it's like this cascading effect where now you're even more in control just because you're not even doing necessarily what you want. But it's good to to catch these opportunities and just like frustrate your opponent. Establish these threats. Now you have like this, kind of defensive like little shield, and this threat of like a dangerous defense, right? That your opponent is like they're gonna second guess what they do when they try to come in on you, and that's now total like that's kind of the path to establishing a really good offense as well. So there's a whole lot of things that can come from this. And it's all just really, really subtle, really like kind of, I guess, I don't want to say deep, but it's a deep game of like of doing stuff with like really simple techniques that can really come from this. And so if you make that kind of, you base your tactical paradigm off of that, you're kind of going to be, winning the exchange just based on your effective play already, and doing these subtle things, taking the lead and finishing strong kind of thing, So anyone else have any questions that they want to ask? We got it's 13 minutes and it's disgusting in here, so it's good that we're finishing up, honestly. But yeah, does anyone have questions?
Do you have any particular reason where you might like shut an attack off early, like in terms of like where it completes in the arc? So let's say like just going slowly, like swinging like here, like intercepting it early, so that so you can get closer and then going to target afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because that's where like the
my preferred method of doing that is that, but
thank you.
You can definitely
I can helmet up.
Yeah. You can definitely do right there. You can definitely just right there. I mean, that's not even a parry, that's just going or getting that parry, hitting that Zverik or something. If you want to catch it early. Here's another. Here's one. So, yeah.
I just wanted to ask, when you're looking for these openings, what cues are you looking for, both by feel and by sight?
That's a good question. It's by feel and by sight. Because that's really good that you said feel, because you do feel this. You know, you feel when you might have the opportunity to start feinting on your opponent. You kind of hit your probes, start getting this like kind of subtle play going, and you might watch them as they start making moves. And you're like, ah, you saw that, and then now you can kind of feel it. And I get close, and the distance doesn't change. That's when the feint works. Is when you get in and the distance doesn't change. You know, something like that. You can just kind of start to feel it. You feel it with more and more practice, right? With a little bit of focus on this. But in terms of sight, you're taking any cue you can get internally and externally. So feeling and seeing. You know, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You mentioned that you're primarily working like hands down here, like just in this small
Yeah,
space,
I'm like strike zone right here.
except for when it's time
Right.
to go up, and
Yeah.
usually for those swears. I was wondering, do you find more success doing that with your opponent moving into your measure, or with you moving?
More so when they're moving towards me. And so here's the thing, it's like, I just said, when I walk in and they don't do anything, I'm still in control. When my opponent walks in and I don't do anything, I'm still in control. You have to set it up in that sense. And so I have people that come in on me and I don't do anything, and I know I'm in control and I do that. And so I do set that up. Actually, it's the breaking of distance. It's the same thing actually, because it's you're here, and then you break the distance, and then they're there, and then they're toast. Or you're here, they stop, you break the distance, break the pattern. You know, you're doing this for the most part, or maybe doing this, and then you break the pattern. You know, so it really doesn't matter what you do as long as you're establishing patterns and breaking it. So I'm coming in here, my opponent stops, and I go, I'm in control. I let my opponent come forward, and I stop, I'm still in control, not the action itself. And yeah, I do definitely set that up, that sphere, that high game up by actually like letting them come towards me. But I can also, you know, come in, you know, and then like as I'm advancing, bring it out of them, bring out a counterattack. There you go. You know, that works well. Yes, sir.
When you're setting up your pattern in order to later break it with like a parry or anything else to interrupt your opponent's tempo,
Yeah.
are you doing that not intending any of your setup to like actually land? Or are you prepared where you're like setting up, they do something that leaves a very exposed opening and you think, oh, well, if it's there.
Well, both. It's the same thing.
Okay.
I'm doing this with an open mind. And I'm doing it with my plan as a ball, and I'm not clenching my fist over it. I'm holding my plan open with an open palm ready to ditch it.
Okay.
So keep an open mind.
Okay.
Start doing what you're doing, finding things, seeing what's like going through possibilities, kind of close